Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the next installment of the NACDA and Affiliates virtual programming lineup. I'm Dana Leroy, Communications Manager for NACDA, and we are glad to have you with us for this sponsored content session with ThankView. With institutions and their athletics departments pivoting very quickly to digital mediums over the last few months, the use of video has become more important than ever. ThankView helps athletics departments use personalized video to raise awareness, promote events, update supporters, and thank those who matter most. Today, we are joined by JD Beebe and Sabrina Bernier of ThankView and Matt Kanan from Oregon State University, who will share their insights into how videos, particularly those featuring your coaches and student athletes, can be used creatively to boost revenues and increase engagement. Before we officially begin, a quick reminder for our live attendees using Zoom to send in your questions that you might have throughout the presentation using the Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom window. And we will have a lot of time at the end of the presentation to answer them. And with that, I'll hand it over to our speakers to start the discussion.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dana, and thank you for everyone on the webinar here today. I'm JD Beebe, CEO and co-founder of ThankView. And today we're going to be talking, as the name implies, how to use personalized videos to boost revenue and increase engagement. Before we get going, there is a quick poll just to kind of understand what everyone's relationship is with personalized video. So we're going to go ahead and just pop a poll up here real quick. So I imagine that a lot of different organizations are using video, but if you're able to kind of let us know, what is the relationship that you have with video now? Is it all going through your communication and marketing department, or have you started to lean more heavily on kind of that UGC, that user-generated content, which we're in this case calling raw video? Just give it another, we'll give it the 10-second countdown here. Awesome. Well, fantastic. All right. Looks like a lot of people are using both. That's great to hear. So I think what we're going to be able to do here is it's going to be really enlightening because as on the next slide, as I'd like to introduce him, we are joined here today by Matt Kanan. He's the Assistant Athletic Director of Development and Communications and Administration at Oregon State University. Go Beebs. Matt has been a partner of ours and has really kind of pushed the limits of what we can do, with our platform, but just kind of all the different ways that you can be using personalized video in every sort of outreach, whether it's, stewarding your donors or helping raise funds. We're also joined today, we're waiting for the face reveal. She'll reveal at the end here, but Sabrina on our team, she's an account executive, previously of San Diego State University, actually on the donor relations team over there. But she'll be able to be here. Oh, there she is. All right, face reveal. So she'll be here to help us answer questions, and field any thoughts or things you might need help with. And then, as I mentioned, myself, I'm the CEO and co-founder. ThankView, we're about 6 years old. Started with weddings. Actually, I was too lazy to write my handwritten wedding notes. Fast forward to where we are today. We work with over 1,000 organizations, many of them being universities, to help them with every part of their outreach with personalized video. And on the next slide, at the top of every kind of webinar, that we just kind of like to reinstate why we do what we do here at ThankView. And that reason is to build lasting relationships, especially through video, on behalf of those who make the world a better place. Absolutely, that goes and that calls, that's a call to everyone that's here on the webinar today. what you're doing on behalf of student athletes is helping improve their lives and improve the life of a lot of people on your campus. So thank you for all the things you do. We really appreciate it. And for those that we're able to work with currently and hopefully work with in the future, thank you for the opportunity. All right. So today's agenda, Matt is going to share his extensive kind of story, and the greatest place to start is always the beginning. So that's the number one thing we're going to start with. And then he'll go into his aha moment, and then talk about calling an audible, you know, as COVID certainly made many of us call an audible, talk about how he was able to kind of pivot and rethink some of their outreach. Then he'll get into the metrics, show you kind of some of the results of the hard work that he's put in through personalized videos. Talk a little bit about solicitations, especially as it compares to more you know, traditional channels. And then he'll go into what's next. So with that, I'd like to turn the table over to Matt.
Thanks, JD. Also, thank you, Sabrina, for your help, and Dana and NACDA for hosting this presentation. And as JD said, let's start in the beginning. April 30th, 2019, we were having our first ever University Giving Day, Damn Proud Day, and our foundation stewardship and communications team were using this platform that I hadn't really heard anything about. They were going outside the building. They were shooting some videos of themselves saying thank you, and then uploading them to the ThankView platform to send out to people as they made gifts on the day. So I asked questions, and I was like, what is this? Where did you hear about it? How can I learn a little bit more about it? Come to find out, the OSU Foundation had purchased and gone into contract with ThankView, and it forced me to ask the question of what could we be doing better with regards to our communications and our stewardship and our donor engagement. So had a conversation with people from ThankView and realized it was definitely something, there was something there, something beneficial that we could utilize. So we entered into a contract with ThankView as well. And we have a creative video team in athletics. They're very busy doing many things with all of our 17 athletic programs. So in order to get started, I figured I have a cell phone. It's a pretty good video quality. I'm just going to go around and shoot video and see what we can do. So the first thing we did, we had some of our elite donors who were going to be having a wedding anniversary the day of one of our football games. They endow a scholarship, and I thought, well, why don't I go over to practice at our women's basketball facility and have their endowed scholarship student athlete just on my phone again, do a quick little video. And if Dana can play the video, this was that result of our first ever ThankView.
Hey, Tom and Joan, happy 44th anniversary. Thanks for everything that you do for us, and I hope you really enjoy the game, and go Beavs.
So as you can see, very quick, very simple. Talked with our SID to see if I could get time with the student athlete to sit down, literally grabbed a chair, grabbed my phone, told her what we were doing. We shot the video. The whole process took maybe 60 seconds. The great part about it is that when I uploaded to the platform, I could schedule the exact time when these donors would receive this message. They received it in the third quarter of the football game they were at. We could time it out. So we had a member of our development staff just hovering around. So when it came through on text and on email, and they watched it. It was a perfect storm. And so that was our first foray into ThankView. Raw video, very easy to do. So then the next thing was, okay, let's incorporate our video team. Let's incorporate some produced content. And what is our next opportunity to do so? We had a capital project that a group of donor families had helped us with to reconstruct and renovate our softball facility with providing us new turf. We went to our softball program, went with our video team, and produced this video.
Hi, Steve and Marion. My name is Maya.
And I'm Fallon.
We just want to say thank you for everything that you did to make our new turf possible. It's perfect.
and we love it. Very customized with the beaver on it. It's really efficient with the rain. It's never any puddling, never any wet turf out here. It's amazing. We can play on it when it's a little bit sprinkling. We don't have to go inside. It's amazing to get on the dirt and out here on the grass. Thank you and go Beavs!
So this was our not our second video, obviously. We'd done some more things with some other project, but this was the first time we said, okay, let's work collaboratively among our peers in our athletic department to create and produce a video that then can be used for stewardship. So we were feeling very comfortable with how we were utilizing the platform from a stewardship standpoint. But then we had our donor trip, our 2019 football donor trip. And if we can move on to the next slide here, that was kind of my aha moment. Like, how can we use this platform in all forms of engagement? We were in Southern California for our donor trip last fall against UCLA. And our then senior associate AD for development, Alex Gary, who's now the athletic director at Western Carolina University, we had him, again, this was all shot using our respective phones. We had him from his room before we left, shoot a video. During the game, now obviously it helps that we won the game. So we were shooting content on our phones. At the end of the game, I had one of my colleagues shoot one portion, and then I shot another one, and they just texted me the video. And in my hotel room, the morning we were leaving, I put together this video and then I'll go into kind of some of the details after that.
We made it. We finally made it home. Thank you guys so much for joining us this year. What a fantastic win we had last night against UCLA. The team is really looking up, and you guys are a big part of it. Thank you so much for everything that you do. Appreciate you joining us this year. Look forward to next year and look forward to the rest of the season. Go Bees.
So as you can see, those are 3 videos shot on cell phone, used Adobe Premiere just to literally clip them together and uploaded them into the ThankView platform to be able to put together a very impactful video that was sent to all of the people who traveled with us to LA. We sent it to them so that we knew roughly about the time we were going to be landing back in Portland. So I gauged about a half hour after everybody would be off of the charter plane. We know everybody's gotten their bags. That hit their inbox or their cell phones. Just again, a nice little message reminding everybody what a great time it was and to thank them for everything they do. So as we continue to move forward with this product, and as you notice, it's not only the video, if we could just stay back for a quick second, it's not just the video. You have the opportunity to provide some text at the bottom to kind of enhance that message that you were trying to convey with the video. And you'll see how important that is as we move through this presentation and when we talk about solicitations. But we started to move forward with our use of stewardship. We had a women's basketball trip to Italy that when they got back, they had created this amazing video of their experience. We sent that via ThankView to everybody who gave to the project. We renovated and expanded our student performance center, our strength center. We provided unique content to the 2 families who helped make it possible of the student athletes seeing it and experience it for the first time. We opened a giving society in honor of our Heisman Trophy winner, Terry Baker, in the fall. And we brought everybody who was members of that society onto the field during a football game. We were able to get the video board feed as well as my cell phone feed from behind. So we had kind of a 2-camera thing going on, worked with our video team to put that together and provided a memory back to those people who were on the field that they won't forget. So great things that we were trying to do to just engage all levels of donors, we started using it with event follow-up. So we have an event. We are going to, after the event, send a link for a survey. We're going to send a link to a photo gallery. So what we did is we had student athletes at the event saying, hey, thank you so much for being here. We shot it from the venue, so it was very authentic. And we said, hey, check out the link below for the video, for the photos from tonight's event. A lot of engagement, great fun, and we got our student athletes involved. But the thing that kind of kicked it all off was our women's basketball locker room. So if we could then go to our next slide, we had a huge capital project with our women's basketball locker room renovation. And for anybody who knows and is in athletic development, you have kind of the silent phase, you have the public fundraising phase, and then you move into your construction phase. Well, we always want to try to keep our donors informed of where we are, how we're utilizing the funds they're providing. And one of the things you want to do is you want to say, okay, thank you so much for all you've done. We're moving into that next phase. And we thought this would be a really cool way to inform every donor of the project how we're moving forward. So play the video, please.
I mean, I love this locker room, but it was so satisfying just to take it down with a sledgehammer to it.
It felt really good. You always feel like you want to do that, but it's not appropriate. This time we were helping a good cause, so I want to take out some anger. I think it's just an amazing opportunity for the layout to help our team grow closer and have just an inclusive area for people who can come and hang out. And I know before classes a lot of us will go over there and take naps, but to have kind of a place where we can go and hang out and spend more time with each other is just huge.
I think it's just more of a blessing that we get this opportunity to get a brand new locker room. Not a lot of people can say that.
Thank you so much to all the people. I know there's so many people involved that helped make this opportunity for a new locker room possible. So thank you guys so much. Our whole team is so grateful and super excited for this new locker room. Thank you.
Thank you.
You rock, Beaver Nation.
Go Beavs!
So for those of you that don't know, our women's basketball program has a very, very strong community draw. Our community is very invested in the program, and the program is invested in the community. So being able to showcase Beaver Nation and showcase our senior student athletes being a part of this locker room demolition, those were the first whacks of a sledgehammer. And thank you to the construction outfit that was working on it and to our facilities team for allowing us to do it. It was a pretty cool experience, and they got some aggression out. I think it might have been during finals at the time. So they got some academic stress out there in the locker room. But the ability to, again, work collaboratively with our video team, work with one of our sport programs, as this was benefiting them, to create something that was memorable for not only the program, but also for those who gave to this specific project, was something extremely unique and something that really continued my enjoyment of utilizing this platform. So we continued to use the platform as we thought was the best way to do so through this year, into the, as we neared the end of the basketball season and into March, and then March came. So as we move forward, as everybody knows in sports, sometimes you have to make adjustments. You have to call an audible. And that's what we did. So with the coronavirus and COVID-19 and March 23rd, we were asked to work remotely. Our entire team was, along with everybody from external and most of our athletic department, as everybody knows that feeling. So started talking with our administrative assistant, who helps me with our weekly and monthly gift acknowledgements, and just, we didn't have anything at home. We didn't grab our postcards that we send out. We didn't grab any envelopes. We still need to acknowledge these donors who are making annual fund donations. As we get near the end of the fiscal year, it's even more important, especially with all the uncertainty that was going on. It was even more important to make sure to engage our donors. And so we had a conversation internally, and we had, during the year, collected gratitude videos. We sat down with our student athletes on marketing video days. Everybody who's who's watching, who's on the marketing team. You set aside a day before a season, and you get all that in-game content taken care of to use on the video boards. And what we do is we sit down with them and we grab about 15, 20 minutes with the student athlete to have them record some gratitude statements, talk about the impact of their scholarship that we utilize throughout the year on social media, now obviously using ThankView to send out to people one reason or another. So we have all this content. I said, let's just completely shift. Let's use ThankView to acknowledge our gifts completely digitally. We have the opportunity. We have the data. Our administrative assistant was pulling the weekly data anyways. We said, hey, instead of it just being a name, address, city, state, zip, add the email address into it, and quickly added these lists into ThankView and started sending all of our general gift announcements, general gift acknowledgements through ThankView with a quick little message. Thanks for all you do. Here's a video from so-and-so to kind of elaborate on that gratitude. So we started to move digital, and then we opened up a mini campaign in support of our student athletes, that are spring senior student athletes who were returning the following year because they had lost their season due to COVID-19. So the Beavers Care for Athletics initiative, which we'll get into a little bit in more detail later, but that was another opportunity to thank our donors with the video. We also started utilizing the platform as staff were transitioning out of their roles and taking jobs at other universities. We utilized ThankView to grab video from our colleagues and coworkers, put it together, and send them a kind of a nice going away message. I'll get to the birthdays in a second. Then we thought, yes, ThankView, it's in the name, you thank people, but why aren't we trying to use this in a different way too? This is a very important time. We need to continue to engage our donors. We need to continue to generate revenue at a time we're not having games. So we said, let's try to use it as a solicitation platform. We had a planned giving society that was just about to launch. We utilized the platform to solicit for that. We recently had a conversation through Zoom with soccer capital project donor prospects. We utilized ThankView to send them the recap of that Zoom call and have a call to action for the soccer project. And then we go back to these mini campaigns, the Beavers Care for Athletics. We reached out to our spring coaches and some of our impacted spring student athletes. And as you see here on this next video, we gave some bullet points to our student athletes to utilize, and they did a call to action. And I think this young woman, her name's Narissa Eason from our softball program, no pun intended, knocked it out of the park. So take a look.
Hey Beaver Nation, this is Narissa Eason, and I'm a senior on the Oregon State softball team. The cancellation of our season was devastating to me and my teammates. Thankfully, the NCAA made the decision to allow us to return next spring. With the decision that was made comes additional costs of an expanded roster. We are asking for Beaver Nation's help through our Beavers Care for Athletics initiative. Funds donated through the link below will be used to provide student athletes like me vital resources. The concept of team has never been more important, and together we can make this time of uncertainty one that is remembered as a moment Beaver Nation came together. Stay safe, and as always, go Beavs.
So as you can see from her video, I mean, yes, she has a script. She has some bullet points she's following. She's very natural, very grateful that our student athletes participated. You see here on this screen, you have a bit of the message, a bit more of the why you would want to give to this campaign. You have the call to action button right underneath the video that she pointed to. And then again, more information and a link to the website you could learn more if you weren't ready to give right now. So we'll get into how that performed in a minute, but we utilized, as we move forward here, we utilized one of the aspects of the platform for video requests. Very helpful. I won't get into it in detail because I know we do later, but just a great opportunity to capture content when you can't be in front of somebody. The last thing that we did from calling the Audible, this was the funnest in my mind, was our birthday cards. So we send birthday cards. We work with our creative team. We're on a 2-year rotation to create and design a birthday card. And what we do is we, again, our administrative assistant pulls that data. We have a list every month of whose birthdays, for donors of over a certain amount, whose birthdays are coming up. And obviously, you can't control the U.S. Postal Service. So we send it at a time where we know it's going to reach their mailbox 2, maybe 3 days before their actual birthday. They don't get it. Maybe they might get it on their actual birthday, but we can't control that, and we don't know that. So as we moved into this remote working environment, it was right about the time that our creative team was redesigning our birthday card for the year. And I asked them, can we also have a digital version, an animated digital version? Because we want to send our birthday messages to our donors through ThankView. Couple things. It's here, let's watch the video first and I kind of get into some of the detail. So you have the outer cover and then the inner portion of the card. No sound. In hindsight, probably should have added the happy birthday song. I'm going to do that next time. But what this does is it allows us to upload everybody's birthday, and they'll get this message 9 a.m. on their birthday. So no more, we took the guesswork out of when were they going to get an acknowledgement from our team about their birthday. We know it's coming to them right on their birthday. It has a nice little message from our team. And for our development staff who may manage some of these people who don't have a birthday, when they call them on their birthday to wish them a happy birthday, it's something nice to reference. Hey, did you get our digital card, our animated card? It's a nice conversation piece. Opens up the conversation to maybe something else you want to talk about. So we go back to the birthday slide. We have, if you see on the right, we have JD was nice enough to pull some, go back one second. Thank you, Dana. JD pulled some metrics regarding our birthday cards. Since we began this, I think we started it with our April birthdays. We've had 218 sent and an open rate of 70%. As you can see, the smaller gray number there, the industry average is 22%. So a bit above. 51% clicked on the image. So they either clicked it to download it, they clicked on something within the ThankView to interact with the message. That's 51%, up from 2.9% as an industry average. And as you can see here, ThankView allows us to see our demographics breakout. We have a pretty wide spectrum of people from an age range standpoint who are seeing this content, who are interacting with this content, ranging from 18 to 24 all the way up to 65 plus. So some great tools to be able to show not only the success of what you're sending, but a little bit more about who you're sending to. And we'll dive a little bit more into the metrics overall that we've been able to use with ThankView as we move on to the next slide. We have a general email service provider that we do a lot of our engagement through. We send solicitations, we send stewardship related emails, general engagement content, and event related content. I pulled data going back to August 22nd, 2019. I don't exactly remember why I chose that date, but it's a nice round number. So ThankView on the left, general email service provider on the right. We've delivered over 25,000 emails in both instances, 104 campaigns and 177. So very similar numbers. Our open rates are almost 10% better with ThankView. Our click rates are over 5% better with ThankView. our bounce rates are, this is not really a comparison in terms of ThankView to our general provider. We all, as we work with many digital platforms, we understand that video is king, queen, everything. The ability to show something, to visually tell your story is really paramount to having success with any type of engagement, at least in my opinion. And moving that into your solicitations, into your stewardship, into whatever you're trying to do, translates also into emails. People are more apt to open something that is from a trusted source and is something they can watch, something they can engage with, something they can interact with. We work a lot with the ThankView platform to find out the best ways that we can word our subject lines, word the subheaders that kind of come in as the preamble to your email, to make sure that we're getting the best opportunity for open rates and click rates, and when we use solicitations, conversion rates as possible. And I've also been very happy with how ThankView will utilize, they'll provide you some, not insight, but suggestions on some very strong verbiage to use in a headline or a subheader that has been successful with other partners that you can mold into your own. So the numbers speak for themselves, and we've been extremely happy with the amount of engagement we're able to have with our ThankView partnership. And we get a lot of replies back. We get a lot of people, especially with those gift acknowledgement ThankViews, people replying back with a thank you back to us. We love supporting Oregon State. Some people get a little bit more verbose, and in those times I've actually emailed back those people to say, hey, this is a great testimonial. Can we use this in a graphic, an impact graphic, maybe on social or in some other way? And 9.5 times out of 10, they say yes. So again, it just allows us to open up another line of communication and engagement with our donors. So as we move forward with a little bit more information on our metrics, if you want to move forward with the, yeah, thank you. So we talked a little bit about the Beavers Care for Athletics campaign. Again, it was in order to help fund the additional cost of our returning spring senior student athletes. We had a pretty heavy bill in front of us, and we wanted to be very proactive with how we were trying to generate revenue. So again, we looked at ThankView as an option. We also use our general email service provider, but we wanted to expand our net, so to speak, on how we were engaging with this group of people. So again, 2 campaigns on either side. You can see our open rates, just under 40% with ThankView, just over 30% with our general service provider. Click rates, just over 8%, about 5.5% with our general provider. But the big number, the big difference is the bottom number. We were able to generate nearly $10,000 through these 2 email efforts. We were generated just over $5,000 with the other 2 on our general service provider. So it showed us that people not only are engaging and like the video and like seeing our student athletes, they're acting. They are giving. So this portion of our campaign, which wasn't the entire effort, obviously there was gift conversations going on that helped us raise over $163,000. But this portion of it really showed us that ThankView can be utilized in so many different ways. And the number speaks for itself. The last thing at the bottom there, nearly a 74% increase in revenue raised and donations raised through the use of our ThankView product. So as you're coming on to this and listening and watching this presentation and think that ThankView is just a great way to put a face in front of somebody to wave and say thank you, it's so much more. It's just, you just kind of have to open up your approach to it. Be willing to fail. Be willing to put out something that maybe doesn't perform that great, and you can go back and say, okay, what did we not do? Because we know the platform is set up to give us success. So just be willing to try different things, and I think you'll have fun with it, and you'll get a great opportunity again to collaborate with some of your team members, collaborate with a great company like ThankView, and and honestly collaborate with your donors as we move forward into what's next. What are we going to be doing with ThankView as we communicate with our donors? So as we move forward in the presentation on the slideshow here, we take a look at what we are doing next. So as we opened the COVID-19 era, we were entering into a time of year where we usually have a week of gratitude, where we, again, capture content from our student athletes and our coaches and administrators to send out to our donors to say thank you for all you've done throughout the year. Well, this was a time of 180s. You know, it was a complete flip of what we knew, of what we knew to do. So I was like, let's flip this idea too. Let's reach out to our donors and ask them to provide a gratitude and impact statement back to our student athletes to say what our student athletes do day in and day out, what joy they provided to our donors and our fans, what they mean to them, what it means to them to go to a Beaver basketball game, football game, softball game, soccer match, gymnastics meet, whatever it may be. And like I said, flip the script. And so we utilize the video request aspect of the platform. We typed out some instructions, told our donors why we were doing what we wanted to do, and provided bullet points. Okay, this is how you record. You can either upload with a video that you had already shot with your phone, or you can utilize the ThankView platform. And we sent it out to a group of donors, and a group of very engaged donors. And we got tons of videos back from people just saying, this is the impact you have on us as fans and donors. Thank you, student athletes. We packaged these all together, created a web page on our website that wasn't viewable to the public, but it was a vanity URL that we provided to our head of student athlete development. And we said, we want you to get it, embedded a YouTube playlist with all these videos. So as we got a new one, we downloaded it, added it to the YouTube playlist, and we said, just send this out to our student athlete community. Let them know that Beaver Nation is there for them. They're thinking about them. They're wishing them well. They're wishing them best of luck on their future endeavors if they were seniors and leaving. It was a great exercise in just total engagement, global engagement with every side of our constituents, our student athletes, our coaches, our donors, and our administration. So we'll continue to do that. We'll continue to look for ways to not only send video requests out to our student athletes and our coaches, but also get our donors and our fans to maybe supply some content back to us as well. We've asked our staff, as I mentioned, we've asked our staff with our Beavers Care for Athletics initiative, we asked our staff to provide gratitude statements. Our spring head coaches all provided call to action videos and gratitude videos that we utilized during that campaign in order to engage with our donors. And this summer, obviously, as not all of our external teams are back on campus, we need to get ready for whatever the season may be. We need to get ready for it. And whatever we're told whatever scenario we're able to move forward with, we need to be able to push go the moment we give that word. We're given that word. So our external team and our fan engagement and marketing team, ran by Sarah Alcano, does a phenomenal job with in-game content, engaging our fans in the stadium. Well, we needed to be very diligent on what the amount of time we use with our student athletes on our normal video shoot day, and also need to be very aware of who was on campus and who was in the room in order to keep in line with safety protocols. So there wasn't a lot of in-game content we were able to capture. We weren't able to get our normal gratitude and impact content that we normally get. So Sarah and I are going to work together to reach out to some of the coaches, some of the student athletes, to capture some of that in-game content that we would normally use, and some of that gratitude content through the video request aspect of this tool. And then we have that, we can download it from the ThankView platform and get it to our video team to package into the aspects that we need to. A lot of our in-game content is our sponsor elements. So we'll be able to dump this video and put on the sponsored logos or whatever, partnership that we need to have. That will be able to be done once we capture this content. We'll capture the content for gratitude to be able to use throughout the year, also in-game, on social as well. So we're really continuing to look at how we can utilize this platform, again, to not only thank, but to generally engage, to solicit, to capture content from all different avenues that we may not have thought of yesterday. And one of the cool things that was just launched that we've already utilized that helps just fine tune your message a little bit more. For anybody that's used ThankView, you saw at the end of each video, the page turned and you had a branding outro video and it had our Beaver Nation logo. Well, now you can customize that for every video. So if you have a special project that has its own brand, or maybe you have a giving society or your giving annual club has its own mark, or you're doing a video for a specific sport that has its obviously sport specific mark, you can customize and upload that image for that outro to use in those specific projects. We did that with our soccer facility, ThankView, to donor prospects utilize, instead of the Our Beaver Nation mark, we utilize the OSU soccer mark. So just another way that ThankView is allowing us to customize our message, customize our brand, customize our engagement with our donors and our constituents. So it's a great partnership. It's been just over a year that we've been active with ThankView, and we look forward to many more years with JD and Sabrina and the team. And I think that is my time. I think the next slide might be questions or not. Let's see. It is. Yay.
Fantastic. Wow, Matt. That's great. You nailed it just as expected.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
awesome.
and
we do have a couple questions. JD, did you want to add anything before we dive into those questions?
Yeah, I thought just one thing, because you mentioned it right there at the end, Matt, to give a little more color to that video request. So I'm just going to drop it actually into the chat so everyone can have it. What Matt was referring to, there's a few ways you can request videos. If you know specific people you're requesting from, students, coaches, athletes, you can send specific requests to people with specific instructions of what you want from them. But you can also create these public links. So I've just dropped one right in there if you just want to take a look at how that works. Really simple. In this case, I've given a simple prompt as to, add your name, your title, and, in the case of Matt, go Beebs. In the case of ThankView, go Unicorns, just kind of rally on your team. But you can see how fast and easy it would be to be able to provide one of these requests to, any number of people, and then be able to collect all that video content, which comes right back into your account, where then you can use it and take advantage of it. But so that's just the one thing I wanted to mention there. Sabrina, I'll turn it back over to you for questions.
Great. So we have some flowing in here. The first question is for you, Matt. What have you done to determine frequency of personalized videos, and have you surveyed your donors, members, constituents to determine their preferred method of contact, phone, text, video, email, etc.?
Yeah, so we have an advisory board that is made up of about 36 of our donors, ranging in demographic, ranging in support level. And as a part of that board, we have subcommittees, and I oversee our communications and stewardship subcommittee. So we go directly to them. They represent, again, varied demographics, varied levels, times in their lives in terms of level of support. And we talk to them about how they want to be communicated with. We found that it's, if many people that are giving online, they want to be communicated with online or through email. We don't do a lot of text communication. I think we did one campaign in 2016 after our victory in our rivalry series with Oregon. But a lot of our communication has been either email or some type of hard copy collateral but obviously the focus on digital has heightened during this time. But to answer the question, yeah, we go back to our donors, we go back to the people that are going to be receiving the content and ask them, how do you want to receive it? Here's what we're looking to say. Here's what we want to say. Here's how we're looking to say it. Are we hitting the mark? Are these matching together? And then they give us honest feedback, and we don't have an ego about it. We understand that in order to get better, we need to get that honest feedback from the people who are getting the content and who are our audience, and we go from there.
And I will say, just to that end, we do, ThankView does have the functionality to be able to send via text message if that is a preferred method. Of course, you have to have that that contact information, and obviously that can be, from organization to organization. That might be something you collect. You might, just have the preferred method being email or direct mail, anything of that nature.
Yeah, I'll double back on this. The times that we have used the text function in ThankView is pretty much when we're sending to maybe an individual donor couple, or maybe one or two donor families. We want to make sure they get, like, this content gets them right away. Perfect example is the first video we did, that the couple that was celebrating their anniversary during a football game. We sent it to their email, but we also sent it to their, we texted it to them because they're probably more likely to pull their phone out of their pocket if they hear or feel a text come through. So yeah, if it's more individual, we're probably more likely to utilize the email and text function.
Great. And then another question we have here, any suggested parameters for length of video for different aspects, gratitude, call to action, etc.?
So I'll say we've done JD. I mean, I'm sure there's industry standards, but
yep.
Whatever the standards are, we didn't listen. Sorry. We have a video. We have 30-second videos. We have a minute and a half. I think the locker room video was a minute. And then we have the video that we did, which was the recap of our Italy trip for women's basketball. That was 9 minutes. And then we have Zoom recaps that are 45. So I'm not saying we're doing it correctly whatsoever. My thought was, let's just kind of take that and throw that out. If the content is good and it's 3 minutes, then it's 3 minutes. If it's drab and it's 45 seconds, then it's drab. So that's on us to make sure that the content is engaging. But obviously, like I said, we probably aren't doing the right thing by the industry standards.
No, I mean, I think you nailed it. So I think there's two aspects. What I'd say is probably most common on the platform. Again, I wouldn't say this by any means it's the best. It's just most common. You're looking from 30 seconds to a minute 15 tends to be the average length of the videos, especially in kind of like a thank you context. But just as Matt said, it really comes down to the content of what you're trying to do, and to who is your audience. If it's a completely personalized video, then that video being perhaps 5 minutes long, but it's all about what this person is really passionate about, or the thing that they've supported, then 5 minutes might be right on the money. It might even be too short. And as Matt also said, one thing we adjusted during COVID was we changed the file size to 2 gigabytes specifically because we knew that there's going to be a lot more webinars. There's going to be a lot more long form content. Even if there was presentations or speaker series, things of that nature, we wanted our platform to be able to deliver content no matter how long or short. So it really comes down to who your audience is. In terms of call to action, I always think the more direct the call to action, if it's kind of vague, it's like, click here. It's like, I don't know if I'm going to click there, but like if, as in the softball video, as she referenced, she actually referenced, hey, click the video or the button below to help support Beaver Nation during this time. The more specific your message, I think the better it is. We've also found, in that solicitation aspect, we found that ThankView has been used, and I know there's a question coming up here, but for admitted students. So, class is saying, hey, congratulations, you've been admitted. Click the button below to continue and complete your registration, or to get your new student starter pack, something in which is going to provide value to them. So whether it's the CTA is very direct, or it's going to provide, link them to something of great value, those are the things that I think are best to link to.
Great. And JD, you answered the next question. It was asking about platform capabilities with length of videos. So good on that one. And then we do have a participant who's wondering if anyone's using ThankView for recruiting. She's considering using it in that space. So Matt, is your team using ThankView for recruiting at all currently?
Well, the way I look at it, no matter where you work within athletics, everybody's recruiting. You're either recruiting student athlete, you're recruiting season ticket holders, you're recruiting donors, recruiting general fans, recruiting new staff. But I understand the question, definitely. It's not something we have discussed specifically of how, or if we wanted to use the platform for recruiting. But it's, I think any conversation right now should be open. And it's something I appreciate I'm not sure who provided the question, but thank you for that. I think it's a great suggestion. It's something I'll definitely bring back to our team and see if there's some legs there.
And Karen, that was Karen Whalen. She had another good comment too, I'll address as well. But I think we have had athletic organizations in the past use it in that capacity. I can think of Butler University has used it in that capacity for their soccer team. And one of the nice things with ThankView is it's also really easy to use across any size team. So as Matt's kind of talking today, Matt is kind of a pro at the platform. But if you wanted to also involve other students, athletes, coaches, you can create different profiles for them, set different permission levels. So if you still wanted to kind of oversee everything, but let them kind of operate on their own. So have their own list uploaded. So, here are my prospects that I want to make sure I reach out to. That's a very common thing we do in the development world just with our gift officers. So that's something you can definitely do as well. And then Karen, you also had a question of, we also embed the contact employment info we have for them and ask them to update their info if theirs is outdated. So one thing with ThankView you can do as well, you saw a lot of those examples that Matt showed today, which were great. The video, call to action button, and then the message below. One thing, that message can also use merge fields, so that entire thing could be personalized with their name, their donation amount, the sport even that they're supporting specifically. But also you're able to embed other experiences right into ThankView as well. So if you wanted to have a Google survey below the ThankView and say, hi Matt, here's the information we have on you. If this is outdated, please update it below. And you'd actually be able to collect that data through the ThankView experience as well. So I know that's a little bit, that's maybe a little esoteric for, not being able to see it in front of you, but just suffice it to say, we're really trying to expand. We get you hooked in with the video, and then we want to be able to deliver whatever experience you want thereafter.
Great. And then we do have a few questions about what pricing structures look like for ThankView, and specifically to if NCAA division schools can afford a platform like ThankView and if it's capable for smaller groups.
Matt, I can obviously talk about pricing all day, but Matt, what is your opinion of the pricing?
It's great. I mean, it's something that fits within our budget. We have a budget for general stewardship, and when I know there's a question there about like, does the foundation have its own separate account with ThankView versus athletics? And to answer that question, the foundation, OSU Foundation, has the contract, and then when we began with ThankView, we were able to almost piggyback onto that current contract with kind of like side contract with the organization, so that we were able to incorporate everything that we want to into our little package. And but it's still separate from what the foundation is doing. And it fit within our budget model. And the only thing I say is, look into what ThankView has to offer in terms of packages, and each department, each person is going to be able to know whether it fits into their budget model. But I will say, it's not like you purchase the package and then you see a cool add-on or whatever, and you're like, oh, I'd love to do that. Oh, well, that's an in-contract upgrade, or that you don't see that with ThankView. I mean, perfect example is the customization of the outro graphics. I mean, that is something that is new to ThankView that is free for people, you know, if you're under contract. So there's definitely ways to continue to make your content better that ThankView is providing that is not an in-contract upsell. But yeah, definitely reach out to ThankView to find out if it works for you.
Yeah. So, and I'll elaborate even further on that. So another, just because you mentioned like some of the product updates, even kind of you had mentioned kind of taking some of the videos outside of ThankView, editing and then bringing them back in. We now have, I think even Matt, since you started, we now have some simple editing functionality right in the platform. So you can sequence videos in, make a montage, or kind of do all the editing necessary in the platform. So, you know, just as you're saying, we're always trying to expand on the platform in that regard. Tamale and Don, you know, we base the pricing off of the number of contacts, number of team members you want, and kind of the level of customization. You know, almost all of our packages fall under $10,000 a year, many of them much less so. Again, it all just kind of depends on the volume that you're looking for. And we can work with any size organization. You know, you mentioned smaller schools. We work with 1 or 2 person nonprofits all the way up to the largest state schools and healthcare organizations. So we can really find a package that works for you.
And Molly and Don, I'm happy to follow up with both of you to explore what packages could look like based on what capabilities you're looking for as well. Last call, any other questions? Does anyone want to throw any last minute questions in there for us to answer? All right, it looks like that's it.
All right, well, we're coming up on the top of the hour here. I just want to extend another big thank you from the NACDA team to all of our presenters, Matt, JD, and Sabrina. Matt, especially, it was great to hear from you. It's always good to see how, you know, products like these are being used on campus by your peers. So we appreciate you getting up bright and early this morning and sharing your experiences with us from the West Coast.
My pleasure. Thanks, Dana.
As we kind of close, is there anything else you want to leave us with? You know, I think that I feel like we should send you one of these videos now for doing this for us. But is there anything, closing statements from the group?
Matt?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'll say thank you very much to everybody for having me on this morning. It's my pleasure to talk about. And yeah, just keep thinking outside the box, keep thinking of different ways. As we've seen in our current environment, things change daily, hourly sometimes. So change with it. Being able to pivot and ask questions, and it's a fun way to navigate through our work. So happy you have my email and my email information and my Twitter handle. Feel free to hit me up anytime. Happy to discuss it. And JD, Sabrina, look forward to continuing working with you guys. And Dana, always great to see you as well.
Yeah, and just to build on that, yeah, thank you for Matt and Dana for allowing us to do this. For everyone on the webinar today, awesome. You might be on the West Coast like Matt. Kudos to you for waking up so dang early. If you'd like to learn more about ThankView, thankview.com. If you want to go straight to the demo, ooh, wouldn't that be great? Thankview.com/demo. We're here to, again, as I mentioned, to build a package that works for you, to explain what we can do. And as Matt mentioned too, you know, we're very receptive to what you're looking to do. These are changing times, and we're changing along with them. So we are not a stagnant company. We are exceedingly hungry to do new things. So always expect new things to come out of out of the platform, and a lot of exciting things on the horizon for us.
Yeah, and thanks everybody for your time. And if you do have any questions about the platform, or you're looking to be directed to any answers you need, feel free to reach out to me as well, and I'm happy to point you in the right direction.
And I'll end it with go Beavs.
Go Beavs. I'll say go Beavs. Okay.
Yes, everybody.
Yeah, go
Feels
Beavs.
good.
Yeah.
Thanks again, everybody. Take care and be well. We'll see you online again soon.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you, Dana.